Hello, everybody, and welcome to another installment of First Impressions. In this series, as you have probably guessed, we will be taking a look at the 9 new leaders that will be released with the upcoming expansion, Gathering Storm. The reason I chose to put the series together is that I stream on Twitch 5 days a week, and every day I get people coming into the stream asking me, hey, what do you think of these guys? What do you think of those guys? How about these guys? What do you think of them? And I thought, what better way to increase the traffic on YouTube and bring more eyeballs to our content than to say, you know what? Here's a link. Go check it out. While you're there, subscribe, like, do all the things you're supposed to do when you're on YouTube. So we're putting this series together, and I hope it gets some great results. I hope people will enjoy it. Please feel free to leave some comments down below about what you think of the series and my perspectives and all things like that. Speaking of perspective, I like to put this disclaimer in there before we get started with the analysis. While I will be giving an overall general view of the civilization and their abilities and stuff like that, it is also very important to realize that I'm actually going to be giving my analysis in the end from a deity perspective. That's what I play every day. That's my expertise. That's what people count on from me, and I want to make sure that people are getting that perspective when they watch some of these first look YouTube videos, so that they can see how these guys will translate to the deity AI game, if you will, as we know it now anyway. So without further ado, let's get started with Canada. I am particularly fond of this civilization. As many of you know, I am Canadian, and it is fantastic to finally be able to play as the home nation in a civilization game, which I've been playing for well over 20 years. It's about time, and I can't complain too much because now that they have done it, they hit the nail on the head pretty well indeed. I think these guys are really fun. They're going to be a lot of fun to play with, particularly if you enjoy culture games, because these guys synergize perfectly with the culture game. Fantastic civilization. Without further ado, let's just jump right in and take a look at their abilities. So, the first unique ability is the Last Best West. It allows farms to be built on tundra terrain, and after civil engineering, unlocks the ability to have farms on tundra hills. It reduces the cost of purchasing snow hills, tundra hills, and tundra tiles by 50%, and it also increases the extraction rate of accumulated resources on snow hills, and tundra tiles by 100%. That is double the resources on resources in the tundra and the snow. So let's break this down. First of all, being able to thrive in the tundra, I think that's a fantastic idea for the abilities of Canada. Living in Canada, I can tell you, I don't live in the tundra necessarily. I live not too far from the U.S. border, as a matter of fact. But it's still a unique ability to say, hey, well, these guys can survive in cold conditions. Let's let them build farms there and thrive there. And so being able to put cities and have effective cities on land that most people, most civilizations, or really all other civilizations, were pretty much going to want to ignore, other than perhaps Russia. So that's fantastic. Let's break it down further. The 100% extraction rate, I think that some people kind of overlook this and say, okay, well, Last Best West means you can put farms on tundra hills and stuff like that, whatever. And also the purchasing, which is not unimportant, to be able to buy the tiles for much cheaper. But I think it's important to point out that the resources are going to have a whole new life in the Gathering Storm DLC or expansion or whatever you want to call it. And being able to extract 100%, like if you've got all that tundra to yourself and you're building cities up there and they're thriving and you're able to get all these resources from all over the place, obviously there's going to be some RNG to it, whether or not there's actually these resources there, but iron, coal, all these things can spawn up there, and you can get oil as well, and you're going to be able to trade these for whatever you want: gold, diplomatic favor, use them to power your cities, you name it. You're going to have the ability to do all those things, and I think that's something that you do not want to overlook. I think it could be a very powerful kind of side piece to your strategies in winning really any victory type. So I think that's something to keep note of. Next, the 4 Faces of Peace. This is really, really strong from start to finish. Cannot declare war on city-states or surprise wars. Makes sense as Canada. But not being able to have surprise wars declared against you is excellent when you're playing on Deity. For those of you who might play on casual difficulty levels and just play the game chilled out, you don't have to worry about being destroyed by the AI. This isn't going to mean a whole lot to you. But when you play on Deity AI or even some of the higher level difficulties, where they start with 5 times, 6 times the military that you do, they are unbelievably strong with their military bonuses. Not having to worry about having a surprise war declared against you is unbelievable. So as long as you can keep somebody from denouncing you, you don't ever have to worry about having a war against you. So you don't have to worry about your defense. If somebody does denounce you, it's like, okay, I got 10 turns, let's pump out some archers or whatever and strengthen our walls so that if they do come at us, we're good. But if nobody denounces you, you don't have to worry about a defense. Which that's incredibly powerful to know that you can really kind of just ignore that aspect, other than obviously barbarians. You want to have a plan for barbarians, but yeah, to know that you're going to be safe from the bad guys, from other civilizations, I think that's fantastic. And continue along there. For every 100 tourism, earn an additional diplomatic favor. I'm assuming that this is like on a per turn basis. So if you have if your tourism per turn is over 100, then you get 1 extra diplo favor per turn, and then the higher your tourism gets, the higher your diplo favor gets. So that's a really cool synergy there. And then receiving 100% diplomatic favor. That's double the diplomatic favor from successfully completing an emergency or a scored competition. So with the new World Congress coming into play, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to win those events inside the World Congress, and also to successfully complete emergencies. You're going to want to find a way to jump into some of these emergencies and complete those in order to earn diplomatic favor. That's a huge advantage. We don't know exactly how the diplomatic victory type is going to play out, so it's hard to really evaluate exactly how strong this is. But even in games where you're not going for diplomatic victory, there's lots of ways that you can use diplomatic favor to manipulate the World Congress in order to have policies passed that favor you, and also if you even want to sell that diplomatic favor to get things you need to help your cause. So all kinds of great things coming out of that ability as well. The next one, who saw this coming, right? The unique unit, the Mountie. Canadian unique modern era unit, which can create a national park. That's right, folks. It can create a national park, and has +5 combat strength when fighting within 2 tiles of a national park, and an additional 5 combat strength when fighting within 2 tiles of a national park you own. So defense, defense, defense. If for some reason somebody comes after you in the late game when you're trying to go for a victory, if you got your national parks down and you can have Mounties in and around those national parks, wow, +10 combat strength. Good luck getting through that wall. So that part defensively is fantastic. Of course, they're not really going to have much use for you offensively, which is fine because you're not really generally going to be going for domination victory with these guys. It's the one thing that they're really not going to be able to do. But I think you have to double back to that create national park. This is just another example of synergy towards a culture game that these guys have, which is going to be so strong. In the past, of course, the only way to build a national park was to accumulate massive amounts of faith and then purchase a naturalist and go out and find a place to put the national park and build it, 1 per unit. It starts the cost at like 1,800 faith, and then 2,000 faith, and then 2,200 faith. It costs like 30,000 faith to build 10 national parks if you really want to push the national park thing massively. Now you don't need an ounce of faith, and you will be able to build massive amounts of national parks. So obviously, if you can get faith, then you can use that for all kinds of things, including monumentality and stuff like that, and also to purchase extra naturalists. But you could essentially turn production and or money to get these Mounties into national parks. It's unbelievably strong. You can imagine yourself in a game simply saving up the money, and as soon as you get that research, spitting out half dozen or more net bounties, sending them off to locations you've already got located, and then boom, immediately national parks everywhere beginning to accumulate that all that tourism up right away, instead of having to wait 5, 10, 15 more turns to accumulate enough faith to get another one down, and then a few more turns to get another one down, and 10 more turns you get another national park down. This is just instant national parks all over the place the moment you get that research done. It's just unbelievably powerful. National parks, for those of you who don't know, running your culture games, they can, if they're done right, they are extremely fun in a tourism game. And then finally, the ice hockey rink, another one that just, I mean, for a Canadian, all four of these things just, they make sense to us historically, obviously. It's just a lot of fun the way they've put this civilization together. The ice hockey rink makes so much sense. The ability to build the ice hockey rink, unique to Canada, of course. +1 amenity and +1 culture for each adjacent... Sorry, I said that a little bit off. +1 amenity, period. So an extra amenity similar to the golf course, or exactly like the golf course, I guess. And then +1 culture for each adjacent tundra or tundra hills, snow or snow hills tile. So you're looking at, if you put these in the right spots in a lot of your cities, and remember, you can thrive in the tundra, so you can put lots of cities all over the tundra. You are looking at potentially as many as 6 culture for every one of these in every city. Then, of course, it stacks beyond that for an additional 4 culture if it's adjacent to a stadium building. So you can synergize the occasional entertainment complex in and around certain areas, and then build your hockey rinks around them from multiple civilizations. And then you can have as much as 10 culture per tile, which is incredible. If you could do that across like 6 or 8 cities, and then turn that into tourism once you discover flight, I mean, you're going to be attracting so much tourism to these hockey rinks. And you can imagine, in addition to hockey rinks, of course, you've got the national parks you're going to be able to do so easily. And then obviously the seaside resorts, and then all the culture you get from your theater squares by getting the great people. There's so many different ways you're going to be able to get tourism. These guys are going to be just off the charts bringing people to the land. So, so much fun. There's food and production for professional sports civics coming in there as well. There's all kinds of things that make these stronger and stronger throughout the years. The +2 appeal is also very good for, you can put these in and around where you're going to put national parks. This is for anybody out there who likes to line up their, basically use their pins all over the map and line up exactly where they want to put all the different buildings and all the different stuff in the national parks, and have their cities covered in pins that they're just dreaming about what to do. This is a dream. Lining up, okay, I'm going to put a hockey rink here and a hockey rink there and get the tourism over here, and then we're going to have the appeal for the national park because of those hockey rinks and this and that and all these things. It's just a dream come true with these guys. A lot of fun. So that is Canada's abilities. Let's break it down by the numbers, shall we? First of all, it's actually not a number. It's a word. And in a word, you heard me use it a few times, synergy. These guys synergize so well. All of their abilities work so well and intertwined with each other to help them build a strong civilization with a lot of great abilities. Obviously synergizing particularly towards a culture victory. But even those abilities actually synchronize so well that they actually are assisted a lot in other victories as well. So in a number, we're calling them an 8. A good solid 8. Lots of strength there, in particular in the culture game. So victory conditions, science victory. I hemmed and hawed over this. I was at a 3. I went to a 2. I went back to a 3. I think it's a 2. I reserve judgment to maybe make it a soft 3 in the future. It's almost like a 2.5. All that extra raw culture that you can get in the mid game is absolutely extremely valuable in a science game. Don't kid yourself. And of course, the benefits you'll get from the extra extraction of resources is also a factor there, and the ability to gain extra diplo favor in order to manipulate Congress. The way these guys synergize could make that 2 out of 5, maybe even a 3 out of 5 on science. In a culture game, no question here. It is extremely 5 out of 5. These guys are fantastic. I am telling you right now, they are going to be the best culture civ, if you do them right, the best culture civ in the game, surpassing even the Russians. Militarily, of course, they are a 1 out of 5. They've got no ability to do a domination game whatsoever. It'd be an interesting challenge, I suppose, but yeah, these guys do not do military, and so it should be. And then, of course, religion. I'm giving them a 3 out of 5. People might be like, "What? 3 out of 5? You didn't say anything about religion." Well, here's the thing. There is very few ways in this game to get more religion accumulated quickly early on than with Dance of the Aurora. Of course, it's hard to use Dance of the Aurora because often you're not near the tundra enough to go ahead and use it. But with these guys, you're going to be thriving with cities all over the tundra, and you can put all of your religious sites in the tundra, plus 6 adjacencies, double that with the card. You've got 12 faith per turn in every city on all your religious sites. That is a massive amount of accumulation of faith very quickly, and that is extremely valuable when going for that quick religious victory, which is what we like to do. So, yeah, fantastic stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Canada is in the game. I could not be more excited. Don't forget to leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think of these guys and what you thought of this episode. Don't forget to like it if you did, and subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.